Oh boy. Yeah, this is not good. Oh.
Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you need a website, go to squarespace.com/Henry Turner.
So, give me 1 second. I have to read this out to you. It's absolutely stunning. So, today's hike, today's Wainwright is Grange Fell. I'm in the Borrowdale Valley, or I'm starting from the Borrowdale Valley, and I've had to come back because of my last video last week. I realised that autumn had finally arrived in the Lake District. For me, this is just the place that I want to be, probably for the next couple of weeks. It's not to say I'm going to keep coming back here, but at least for now, I suppose. I love it here in autumn. But this sums it up so well. This is Wainwright's description of this particular route up to Grange Fell. A most beautiful short climb, he says. The first part to King's How is exquisitely lovely. In autumn, a golden ladder to heaven, and simply must not be missed. Sacrifice any other walk if need be, but not that. That's not bad. The only thing is, I've only just turned the corner, I've just started. I can see here, look, a lot of silver birch, which would otherwise in autumn be, you know, golden, yellow, whatever. They look like they've sort of been and gone, or maybe not been at all, and just the green leaves have been blown off them. But either way, this is a beautiful walk. I have done this walk up to King's How before, and I'd say there's going to be at least a little bit of autumn. Let's go and find out. Whoa. So, I'm set up, and I'm not sure about this one. I feel like I say that all the time, but I had a one-to-one the other day, and we were talking about this. I think I'm a little bit sick, by the way. You'll have to excuse the voice and the sniffles. Fortunately, you can't catch my cold through the camera. But yeah, I was with a gentleman called Adrian, and we were talking about this, about, I suppose, these sorts of photographs that you're not really mad on. And we both sort of agreed on this point. You know, it's whether it's right or wrong, this was our opinion, that we both really like taking these photographs, you know, where, I couldn't put a number on it, like, probably like 40% sure on it. I mean, that's pretty unsure, isn't it? But there's something here, and I like taking them because then I can get them back and have a good look at them with a coffee or a beer, and just try and understand why I wasn't 100% sure on it, or, you know, what it is that I didn't like about it, whether it's compositionally, whether there wasn't enough light. It could be loads of different things. So yeah, the point is, I really like to take them, and he agreed. So what really caught my eye to start with is this just beautiful patchwork over here. We're looking back up towards what is High Spy, which is a Wainwright as well, and then over on this side there is Castle Crag, which I was up, a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Now, the only thing is, I was thinking about zooming into this area here with the 24-200 lens, which is what I've still got on, and really trying to get something quite abstract, you know, eradicate the sky altogether. And what I liked is this area of High Spy here, where it's just black, and I thought that looked great against the yellows down there of that particular woodland, but I didn't like it. I think what it is between the trees and the black crags, there's too much of a gap, you know. You have to go a bit higher up High Spy before you get to those black crags, so I don't know, there was just this big gap in the middle that wasn't really doing anything. But anyway, I've decided what am I at? 30 mil, so I'm actually shooting quite wide. I've got Castle Crag in the frame as well. And it's working pretty well. You know, it's not great, like I said, but we've got this nice sort of V shape, actually, by the time I've composed it and got the focal length that I want, around about 30 mil. It looks quite nice, and the main thing is we're still getting that beautiful patchwork, that woodland down there, getting all them lovely colours. We are still getting the black crags at the top, and a little bit of the sky as well, which in this case, because we're quite wide, I think is working. You know, there's a lot of detail up there. It's nice. So that's that. Another thing that I will say, for anybody that watches me regularly, if you watch me when I went up Castle Crag, which was this one here, you'll remember that I took this photograph, right? And this is a little bit technical, but I'm doing a bit of an experiment here. When I took that photograph, on location in the field, I overexposed it by loads. The histogram was mental. It was way past clipping. It was just, you know, look at the histogram and think, game over. I got that file home, and I don't know much about gear and cameras and that, but for some reason, somehow, I just brought the highlights down and the histogram came back as normal, and there was no detail loss in the sky. I don't know if that's like because I've got a Nikon Z7, you know, a fairly expensive camera. This is something that it can do, something to do with its really good high dynamic range capabilities. If anyone knows, by the way, that would be class. But anyway, I managed to save it with ease, to be honest. So what I'm doing here, this is quite a high dynamic scene, although it might not look like it on the video. It's dark here, and obviously the sky is quite bright. So I'm almost taking I'm taking 2 shots to exposure blend, as I normally would, but then I'm taking 1 shot that's deliberately overexposed. The histogram's way to the right, just as an experiment to see if I can get it home, bring down the highlights in that sky and save them. If that's the case, that'd be amazing. Although, surely that would indicate that there's some sort of fault with the histogram? Or else why would it show that it's clipping? I don't know. Again, I don't know much about that sort of stuff, and I'm not really interested, but it's a bit of a personal experiment, so I'll let you know how it went, if you care. But yeah, half decent one to start the day, but like I said, I think these photographs are really nice to take, where you can allow yourself to make mistakes almost, to understand how to solve them in the future. Hope you like this one. So hopefully that come out all right. I will have probably let you know whether or not I used the overexposed version of that photograph. What a strange experiment. I'd like to know, actually. I'll ask you if anybody's into that sort of, what would you call it, technological side of photography, but you know a bit more about cameras and stuff. What's going on there? Can I take an overexposed photograph and save it? Is it because I've got a good camera, like a Nikon Z7? I definitely never noticed that I could do that on my old Nikon D7200, you know, so I don't know, maybe it is. I guess the question here is, could you get to a point where you could trust an overexposed histogram if it is something to do with the modern cameras? I don't know. And like I said before, why wouldn't the manufacturer, why wouldn't Nikon just alter the histogram so it's not overexposed if it isn't actually overexposed? Probably babbling a little bit, but I did find that really interesting when I took that long exposure shot. Maybe it worked then as well. If anyone knows, please comment below. Anyway, let's get to this golden stairway, as Wainwright said. Or something like that, wasn't it? just had a little bit of chili and I'm feeling a little bit better. I was going to say a lot better then, but just a little bit better. So I hope you like that shot back up there. Look, we just kept getting this nice little bit of light up on, I think it's that peak there, just there, maybe. Yeah, and I just had to grab a shot. Did a few in like a square format. And I don't know, I'll pick my favourite when I get back home. So we're now getting towards the golden ladder. I think I called it a staircase earlier, so sorry Mr. Wainwright. And I'm going to keep an eye out, of course. Before we do carry on, I wanted to say, of course, another huge thank you to today's video sponsor, which is, of course, Squarespace. Very grateful for their support. If you don't know who they are, it's an all-in-one platform where you can build your own websites. Nice and easy. They've got wonderful customer service as well. I've used them personally for nearly 3 years, paid for with my own money, delighted with the service. If you're wanting to create your own website, I highly recommend them. You can have a domain on there. That's why I've got henryturnerphotography.co.uk. Sometimes I think it's a little bit long-winded. There's always a little bit of regret there, but I think it's all right, you know. But yeah, you can make your own on there as well. And loads of templates to work with. Honestly, it's really easy. You don't have to be into web development or anything. So another huge thank you to them. If you would like to go and have a go at Squarespace, get yourself a 14-day free trial in the link below, which is squarespace.com/Henry Turner. I'll put it under the video in the description. And if you like Squarespace, which I'm sure you will, be sure to use the offer code Henry Turner for 10% off your first purchase, which is a bit of a beast. Right. Let's get up to this golden ladder. I nearly said staircase then as well. Oh, am I in focus? Goodness me, I'm looking rough. Right, we are up. Not far from King's How actually, but I'm skirting past it just because I've been up it before. And there's a fell that forms part of Grange Fell called Brund Fell. Not to be too confusing, that is actually the highest point of Grange Fell, as per Alfred Wainwright anyway. But look at that, absolutely beautiful. Now if there's one thing I've learned when making these videos, it's get the photograph first, then set the camera up and chat to you guys. So apologies, yous are coming second to the photography, but I'm sure you understand. Now the irony of that is, when I was last up King's How, over a year ago like, we had some incredible light down into the Borrowdale Valley, and I missed it. I missed it by seconds because I was dilly-dallying with my camera, messing about. Fortunately, it's come back. This is how it always works if you put effort in. The universe gifts you. Oh, but no, it's absolutely gorgeous. We're looking back up into Honister Pass, and there's just layers, low clouds swirling around that valley, and then this light over here. So sniffly, this light over here on what's your left-hand side. Oh, it's just amazing. So, in at about 100 mil. ISO 64 f11 and around about 1/80th of a second, but I'm taking a few compositions. No need for the tripod here because that area there is just so bright. What's nice as well, guys, this wood down here at the bottom is fairly autumnal, you know. There's quite a lot of colour down there, albeit quite subtle. There's a little bit of a patchwork, but it's strange because I'd never want subtle autumn colours generally, but the colours throughout this whole scene are really subtle. It's almost colourless. You'll see it in a sec when I show you the photograph, but I'd say this one is all about tones, the difference between the blacks and the whites, and I think you're really going to notice that when you see it. we've made it up and we've come up into the wind, hence the barns. Camera is set up, guys. I did hit it's really weird, look at it. What a gorgeous landscape. I think that one there is the very top. It's about another 2 meters up. I've been up and touched it, but there's a few people about, so I'm hiding around the corner. And this beautiful scene, once again back down towards Borrowdale Valley, back towards Sergeant's Crag. It's wonderful. I've actually had the camera set up in portrait and I've done a pano. I tell you what, this really is my type of photograph. With these clouds that are bang on about so much, black crags off in the distance. And what made it, we haven't got it right at this moment in time, but we had patches of light on the fells across there. Honestly, love it. So about 6 shots, I think, across from right to left. And we've got these 2 sort of dome-shaped peaks up here on the fell where we are. And it's a nice bit of symmetry actually and balance. We've got one over this side, one over this side, and they sort of frame the fells off in the background. I have to say once again though, it's probably all about the sky. It's just stunning. I love it. The dynamic range is mad. I think it is, you know, we've got some bright patches up there in the sky. I mean, look, you can see it's quite bright compared to some of these domes. Probably doesn't translate well on the camera, but it is. So I have bracketed across the pano as I've gone along, and then I'll use that sort of HDR pano feature in Lightroom, which I always find works really well, you know. Just because there's so much nice detail in these rocks. Wonderful. I think I'll be off now. I definitely feel a little bit better with the old cold, but yeah, if there was ever a cup of tea needed, I think it's probably now. It might have to be a hot chocolate, you know. But I hope you like this last pano, and as always, thank you so much for your support. It's massively appreciated. I'll see you on the next adventure. Out.